What's up, YouTube? We back with another video. Last week I did the cold air intake, and the week before I did the headers. This week I'm doing an oil catch can on my Acura. It's been having a little smell lately, like it's burning oil, and I keep checking my oil. It's not going away or disappearing. So I'm gonna put this oil catch can on to see how much get bypassed and pushed into it. And let's hop right into the video, and I'm gonna show you what you need. The oil catch can I went with is a Dorman brand. It's more like a universal catch can you can put on anything, and you can go to any parts store and get this oil catch can, so you ain't have to order online or nothing. This is the box. That's the part number for it. But yeah, it was like $95 for it, so it's not bad. Hopefully it does what it's supposed to do and help with my issue. And I'm gonna open it up and show you what all came inside of it. Good thing is the kit comes with everything you basically need to make it work. It came with a 1532 hose. What I'm gonna do is put a 3/8 hose on it because that's the size of my PCV valve. The next part is probably the hardest part, is figuring out where you're gonna put it at, and you got to make sure it's functional where you can put your hand in and loosen it up every now and then, because you don't want to put it in a hard place where you can barely reach it. So now I got to figure out what's the best spot to put it at, and we'll go from there. As you can tell, that took way longer than I intended. I'm pouring sweat now. It's burning up outside here, but conveniently enough, I found where I'm gonna put it at, and I have a cold air intake which helped me out all the way, because if it wasn't for that I couldn't do it. Let me show you where I'm putting my oil catch can. This is where my cold air intake is. I have a support right here with the battery hold down kit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick it right here. I'm gonna drill holes in it, and I'm gonna have my hoses running from the out and from the in. And I might just run it from the bottom right here and do a U-turn, or run it all the way around the battery so it doesn't kink. But that's where I'm gonna put my oil catch can at. It's out the way of everything heat, and I can easily twist this off and dump it out whenever I need to. Now that I have my 2 marks on there, I'm gonna go ahead and drill out a hose big enough for the screw to bolt down on it. I got the hose drilled out. I'm gonna go ahead and put my screws and nuts on it and tighten her up. That's how she looks so far. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run my hose from the bottom right here all the way around the battery, so it's not a tight U-turn making a kink where it ain't circulated good enough. So I'm gonna go all the way around. Now what you wanna do is go ahead and remove your cover so you can access the hoses better. For my inside, I'm gonna be using the PCV valve hose. I'm gonna be using this to run all the way to the end, and on the out, I'm gonna go from the valve cover itself to the outside. I got little caps I'm gonna cap this off with. Now I got both of the lines on there, and I left the lines really long because I'm gonna cut it after I get the right measurement. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt it up and see where I need to run the lines at. So I hope you guys made it this far in the video. But yeah, like the beginning of the video when I was saying do not to use the valve cover, I really meant to say do not use it, because the valve cover hose is not going to give it enough airflow to allow the pressure to leave the valve cover, because it just have nowhere to go. So you want to use the nipple on the top of the intake manifold for the outlet side, and the nipple from the PCV valve for the inlet side, and everything should work out just fine for you. I just learned a few things with the way I had it the first time. You do not want to run it that way. When you run it from the valve cover to the catch can and to the PCV valve to the catch can, it builds too much pressure because there's just not enough filtration to let the air out. So the correct way you want to run it is from the PCV valve to the inlet, and from the outlet side, you want to run it to the top of the intake nipple and keep the valve cover going to the air filter hose. So that way you still got a constant airflow in and out without having any blockage. I'm gonna show you what happens if you run it the first way I had it. It builds way too much pressure. It's not good for the motor. This is the correct way to run it. On the inlet side, I ran the hose behind the battery across the radiator to the PCV valve. And on the outlet side, I ran underneath the intake hose behind the intake with a little curve in it to the top of the intake nipple. The hose you have from the valve cover to your air intake hose, you want to keep this connected so everything flow properly. And here's a little trick. This is an extra piece of hose I just cut off of another hose because the cold air intake has a bigger pipe. But now I added an extra little hose onto this nipple. This and this will fit perfectly fine. This is how the final setup look. That's my oil catch can. And both of the lines are ran very nicely and secured and attached. When I put the cover on, it's gonna cover up all of this anyway. And I got the big hose back on here. I'm gonna crank it up and make sure everything's running correctly. Everything's running fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check back in about a month. I'm gonna open it up and see how much oil it catches. That's a wrap for today's video. Y'all please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay blessed, y'all.